to Sir Erasmo, where the reporter seeks and our topic is about food and beverage sector. So here are the learning outcomes. At the end of this chapter, you should be able to trace the history of food and beverage industry, describe the different types of restaurant, explain the importance of franchising to the restaurant industry, discuss the restaurant profitability and calculate food cost percentage, gross profit, and average guest check. Calculate the restaurant break-even point. Explain the rule of menu in restaurant success. Differentiate airline catering from restaurant catering and discuss restaurant promotion. To begin the report, let's start from the history of food and beverage service. So, in the early history, there was much evidence that certain groups of people are cooking together with a big group and that the early inns provided a crude menu. Crude menu DIs could be a simple list of food items with any specific description for formatting. In Roman era, many of the early restaurants were in the cities and temples and in the government buildings. So in 1200 century, public cookshop were opened in London which offered pre-cooked take-out food. In 16th century, the meal was known ordinary and the dining room was called ordinaries. In 17th century, the ordinaries became the fashionable clubs and gambling places, as well as the center of political places. In 18th century, the word restaurant used for Paris dining room serving light dishes. In United States, tavern and inns are very similar to those in England. So, ang famous diay nga tavern sa New York is the Fraunces Tavern. In 1834, the famous Delconicos was opened in New York. So, the first root beer stand was founded by Louis Allen and Frank Wright. In the Second World War, it brought many changes to American public. People became richer. The automobile made them more mobile. They shifted to suburban areas of cities. In 1960s, fast food establishment is emerged. At present, modern popular cuisine including French cuisine, Chinese, Mexican, and Japanese have become common in the most cities. The role of food and beverage plays in tourism may not be direct, but indirect attraction.
Types of restaurants. First is the family or commercial restaurants. Family or commercial restaurants are establishments that cater a wide range of customers, offering a variety of dishes suitable for families and individuals. These restaurants typically have a cozy ambience and provide a diverse to accommodate different tastes. Next is the coffee shops are a popular hangout spots where people can enjoy a variety of coffee beverages, pastries, and light meals. These establishments provide a relaxed atmosphere for the customers to socialize or work. Example of this is the Starbucks, which offers a wide selection of coffee and drinks and snacks. Next is the gourmet restaurants, focused on providing high quality, upscale dining experience with exquisite food presentation and a unique flavor combination. These restaurants offer feature sophisticated menus created by skilled chefs. Ethnic restaurants. Ethnic restaurants specialize in serving authentic dishes from specific cultural backgrounds or regions. These establishments offer customers the opportunity to explore traditional flavors and culinary traditions from various countries. Fast food or quick service restaurants are known for their efficiency in serving affordable meals quickly. These establishments typically have a limited menu and emphasize speed and convenience. Next is daily shops. Daily shops specialize in serving daily meats, cheeses, sandwiches, salads, and other prepared foods. They often provide a selection of freshly made items for dine-in or takeout. Next is buffet restaurant. Buffet restaurants allow customers to serve themselves for a variety of dishes laid on a buffet lane. Customers pay a fixed price to enjoy unlimited servings of food during their visit. And lastly, our transportation restaurant. Transportation restaurants are typically located with transportation hubs such as airports or train stations. These establishments cater to travelers looking for quick meals before boarding the transportation mode.
The first question is the menu. Basic planning document for a successful restaurant. It contains what is the restaurant could offer, range of offerings, as well as the selling prices. The menu must portray the size and the theme of the restaurant. Menu design, printing, size, and color is important. Determine the equipment needed and the investment required. The more extensive the menu, the more varied the needed equipment will be. Menu also identify the labor cost of the restaurant. It can help determine the number of staff required and the cost of training for food preparation and service. Menu estimate the cost of the uniform, purchases, storage, and space and the actual food cost. So overall explanation of the menu, to ensure the success of a restaurant, there are several basic planning documents that should be considered. These documents help in defining the offerings, pricing, theme, equipment needs, labor costs, and overall financial estimates. So, here are the key planning documents for a successful restaurant. A business plan, a comprehensive business plan outlines the overall vision, goals, and strategies for restaurants. It includes market analysis, target audience, competition, marketing plans, financial projection, and operational details. The business plan serves as a roadmap for the restaurant success and helps secure funding if needed. So second is concept development. This document defines the concept and theme of the restaurant. It includes details about the cuisine ambience, decor, and target customer base. The concept development document help in creating a unique identity for the restaurant and guide the menu design and overall branding. Next is menu design. The menu is a crucial document that showcases the range of offerings and pricing. It should be aligned with the restaurant concept and theme while considering customer preferences and market trends. The menu design should be visually appealing, easy to read, and well organized. It may include description, images, and any special promotion or offers. 4 is equipment list. This document outlines the equipment needed for the restaurant's operation. It considers the menu and determines the specific appliances, tools, and utensils required for food preparation. Cooking, storage, and service. The equipment list help in estimating the investment required and ensure that the kitchen is equipped to handle the menu offering efficiently. So next is labor cost analysis. The menu also plays a role in identify the labor. Next is labor cost analysis. The menu also play a role in identifying the labor cost of the restaurant. By analyzing the complexity of the menu items and expects volume of customer, restaurant owners can determine the number of staff members required. The documents help in estimating the labor costs, including wages, benefits, and training expenses. 6 is financial projection. Financial projection provide an estimate of the restaurant revenue, expenses, and profitability. It includes estimate for food, beverages costs, overhead expenses, marketing expenses, and other operational costs. The menu is a key factor in estimating the actual food costs and pricing, which directly impact the financial projection. So, in summary, the basic planning documents for a successful restaurant include a business plan, concept development, menu design, equipment list, labor cost analysis, financial projection, purchasing and storage plan, and uniform plan. These documents help in defining the restaurant offering pricing, theme, equipment need, labor cost, and overall financial estimate. By carefully in considering this aspect, restaurant owner can create a solid foundation for a successful establishment. So next question is airline catering. Airline companies spend billions of dollars every year for food purchases. The average cost per airline passenger is between $1 and $7, depending on the length of the for shorter journey. The amount is less for shorter trips, since passenger may be offered only a non-alcoholic beverage and a light snack. For longer trips in which 2 or 3 meals may be offered including free alcohol beverages, the amount is higher, around 3 to 4% of an airline's total cost is spent on food. So for explaining in airline catering is a significant expense for airline companies, which billions of dollars spent annually on food purchases. The cost per airline passengers varies depending on the length of the journey. On shorter trips, the average cost per passenger ranges from $1 to $7. These shorter flights typically offer the passenger a non-alcoholic beverage and a light snack. In contrast, longer trips that include 2 or more 3 meals along with a free alcoholic beverages have higher average cost per passenger. And on average, airlines allocate approximately 3 to 4% of their total cost towards food expenses. This percentage reflects the importance of providing quality meals and beverage to enhance the overall passenger experience. The cost of airline catering includes not only the food itself but also the associated logistics such as storage, transportation, and preparation. Airline companies prioritize offering a range of meal options to cater to different dietary preference and restriction. These include options for vegetarian, vegan, gluten-free, and other special dietary requirements. The catering service providers work closely with the airlines to ensure that the meals meet the required standard for taste, presentation, and safety. Additionally, airline catering involves complying with strict regulation and standards to maintain food safety and hygiene. The catering facilities must adhere to food handling and storage guidelines to prevent any contamination or spoilage during the catering process. So airline catering is a significant expenditure for airline companies, with a cost varying based on the length of the journey and the number of meals offered. Approximately 3 to 4% of an airline total costs are allocated towards food expenses. The catering service providers work closely with airlines to provide a variety of meal options while complying with food safety regulation. This investment in airline catering aims to enhance the overall passenger experience and ensure customer satisfaction during their flights. Next is food quality. The main problem of the next question is the food quality. The main problem of the several airline companies is to cook the meal on the ground and serve it several hours later in extraordinary dry cabin atmosphere 7 miles high to different group of people with different food preferences and whose main function is to travel than to eat. In 1992, airline passengers served a sandwich and a coffee from a vacuum flask on the flight from London to Paris. So explaining in food quality, airline face challenges when serving food to passenger because meals are prepared on the ground and several hours later in a dry cabin at high altitude. To produce hot meals, airline must prepare specifications for each flight, including recipes, ingredients, cooking methods, temperatures, and labor. Menus must also be carefully selected to avoid serving the same meal to passenger on multiple segments of a trip. Some factors that contribute to the quality of food and menu include food cost and budgetary goals, production capability, including available equipment and personnel, type of service and food delivery system, availability of foods, the philosophy of the business and food service operation. Airline meals can range from pre-cooked meals that are preheated during the flight to light snack for short trips or cold meals. Meals are heated in special oven in the plane's kitchen or frozen meals are heated in microwave oven. Fresh food is not often used because it spoils quickly, so powdered milk and its derivatives are used instead of fresh milk. Some say that airline food is routinely poor and that the best one can hope for is that the food is edible. Others say that the most common reason behind the delicious taste of in-flight meal is that airlines have developed menus with tomato-based dishes to enhance the taste of the meal. Next question is logistic. To produce hot meals, the airline company have to prepare specification for recipes, ingredients, cooking method, and temperature and labor for each flight. Preliminary meals counts are usually prepared from 24 hours to 72 hours ahead so that food supply can be both. Menu must be carefully selected for each flight to avoid serving the same meal on a passenger on two succeeding segments of a trip. Trays serving utensils and supply must be in the kitchen when the meal is prepared. In explaining the logistic, to produce hot meal for airline passenger, airline companies need to establish a specification for recipes, ingredients, cooking method, temperatures, and labor requirements for each flight. This ensures consistency and quality in the meal served on board. So here are some key considerations in the production of hot meals for airline catering. So first is recipe and ingredients. Specification: airline companies develop specific recipe for each meal option, taking into account factors such as taste, presentation, and suitability for the cabin environment. Ingredients specification outline the quality and quantity of ingredients required for each meal. This specification help maintain consistency and ensure that the meals meet the desired standards. So we have cooking methods and temperature. The airline company established cooking method and temperature guidelines for preparing the hot meals. This include determining the appropriate cooking equipment and techniques to ensure that the meals are cooked thoroughly and maintain their quality during transportation and reheating on board. Next is labor planning. Adequate labor planning is crucial to ensure the timely preparation and delivery of hot meals. The airline company determines the number of kitchen staff required and assign tasks according to labor planning. Also include training staff member on the proper handling and preparation of meals to maintain food safety and quality. So next is preliminary meal counts and menu selection. We have kitchen supply and utensils. And in summary, producing hot meals for airline passenger requires careful planning and coordination. Airline companies establish specification for recipe, ingredients, cooking methods, and temperature. Preliminary meal counts are prepared ahead of each flight to ensure adequate food supplies. Menus are selected to provide variety, avoid serving the same meal on consecutive segments of a trip. Proper organization of kitchen supply and utensils help facilitate a meal preparation practice. Airline catering service aim to provide passengers with delicious and satisfying hot meals during their flight. Next question is flight kitchen. The first airline kitchen was opened in late 1930s near Washington, D.C. in Hooverfield Airport by a gentleman named Marriott. Marriott had a restaurant near the airport. He noticed that a passenger would go to his restaurant to eat before the flight because there is no meals were served in the airplane. He approached Eastern Air Transport, known as the Eastern Airlines, and offered prepared lunch boxes for Eastern passengers. Eastern agreed so that the first flight kitchen is established. At present, Marriott in-flight services has approximately 100 kitchens around the world, which caters 150 airlines and serve 100 million meals per year. Some airline companies have their own flight kitchen, while the other contract with other airline companies that are equipped with their own kitchen. Most of the airline companies turn over their catering services to outside caterers because airline kitchens are not large efficient. To answer the question of and explaining of flight kitchen, in the late 1930s, the first airline kitchen was opened near Washington, D.C. in Hooverfield Airport by J. Willard Marriott, the founder of Marriott Corporation. Marriott, who owned a restaurant near the airport, recognized the opportunity to provide meals for passengers before their flight since airplanes did not serve meals at that time. He approached Eastern Air Transport, now known as Eastern Airlines, and proposed to the idea of offering prepared lunch boxes for their passengers. Eastern Airlines agreed, and this led to the establishment of the first flight kitchen. Over time, the concept of airline catering expanded and Marriott in-flight services. A division of Marriott Corporation grew to become a major player in the industry. Currently, Marriott in-flight services operate approximately 100 kitchens worldwide, serving around 150 airlines and providing 100 million meals per year. In the airline industry, some companies have their own flight kitchen, while others contract with external catering companies that have their own kitchen facilities. At this station, the outsourced catering services to external caterers is often driven by factors such as cost effectiveness, efficiency, and specialization. One reason why many airline companies turn over their catering services to outside caterers is the size and efficiency of airline kitchens. Airline kitchens are often relatively small compared to the dedicated catering facilities. Outsourcing allows airline companies to leverage expertise and infrastructure of specialized catering companies. Companies that can handle large-scale meal production and distribution. Additionally, outsourcing catering services can provide cost saving for airline companies. External caterers can benefit from economies of scale, purchasing power, and efficient production processes, which may result in lower costs compared to maintaining in-house flight kitchen. So, in summarize, many airline companies choose to outsource their catering services to external caterers because airline kitchens are often not as large as efficient as dedicated catering facilities. Outsourcing provide cost-saving access to specialized expertise and allows airline companies to focus on their core operation. This arrangement has enabled the airline catering industry to grow and evolve, serving 1 million of meals to passengers around the world each year. The difference between the airline's catering and restaurant catering. Airline catering differs from restaurant catering because airline caterers must prepare meals to meet specific requirements such as compact packaging, easy reheating, and compliance with airline regulation. Airline caterers also focus on efficiency, often preparing a large number of meals quickly. The meals are designed to be eaten in limited space and at high altitudes. For example, if a flight kitchen is prepared a steak to be served, 2 hours later the quality of the food may decrease. If the flight is delayed, the steak may become stringy and the sauce may congeal, and the vegetable may become mushy. In a restaurant, cooks can make last-minute adjustment to the meal. If a flight is delayed or there is an interruption to operation, food that has not yet left the kitchen is held in a refrigerator area. Airline catering is considered one of the most complex operational systems in the aviation industry. Airlines make a great effort to serve good meals to passengers by responding to their needs, including those on special diets and monitoring food brands.
So our next topic in the food beverage sector is about franchising. So franchising is very well known here in the Philippines, especially in fast food industries or fast food restaurants. And the very best example of that is Jollibee, McDonald's, and even 7-Eleven is an example of franchising. So franchise restaurant is a major component of food service industry, especially in fast food sectors. Franchises is beneficial to franchisees because they provide operational, training, layout, design assistance, location assistance, and the identification of brands supported by regional and national, international advertising and promotion. So, franchise restaurants can easily get financing from lending institutions than independents. Franchising is very beneficial for the franchisee because the franchise or the owner of the company that they are franchising will provide trainings, they will provide the design assistance, or also they provide the location assistance. Some of the franchised fast food industry in the Philippines is being located at the major part of the province, or should I say the capital part, where many possible customers they can gather. In the early days of franchising, the common practice was to sell individual franchise right for a single restaurant. And at the present, a regional franchise allows franchisee to develop multiple outlets within specific geographical areas. The area could be a city, province, or a major part of country. So, as what I've said earlier, if you franchise on a name of a store, they will provide you the location where will you put your store, and it could be in a city or any major part of a country. So in early days, you can franchise a single store only for a single franchise. But at the present, franchising has upgraded, because in a single franchise you can put multiple outlets or multiple stores in selected areas or geographical areas. And the best example for franchising here in the Philippines, as was what I've said earlier, was McDonald's, Jollibee, and 7-Eleven. So next topic is about restaurant profitability. Food cost percentage. Often used to measure a restaurant marketing success, it is determined by dividing the food cost for a period by the sales of that period and then multiplying it by 100. So, example of this is if the cost of the food for the month is 40,000 and the sales is 100,000, the food cost would be, so 40,000 divided by 100 times 100. So the food cost is 40%. So many restaurants operators strive for 40% food cost to make the restaurants more profitable. So their food cost is 40%. Next is gross profit. It is the selling price of an item less its food cost. So this is the graph of food cost. In this table, it is better to sell item 1 rather than item 2. Item 1 has higher cost percentage and highest gross profit, so the cost percentage of item 1 is 50%, and the gross profit of item 1 is 4 pesos. Hence, a contribution to net profit than item 2. For each of item 1 sold 50% food cost, there is 4 pesos gross profit compared to the 3 pesos with item 2. So it is better to sell item 1 because item 1 has higher gross profit than item 2. And although it has 50% cost percentage, but the gross profit could be higher and it could make your company rise and make more profits. So next is labor cost, controlled by expressing them as a percentage of sales on daily, weekly, or monthly basis and comparing the actual cost with the standard desired. Instead of treating a labor cost as a separate from food cost, many successful restaurants look at these two combined costs. For an instant, they set a standard of 75% above in which food cost plus the labor cost must not increase. As long as the operation maintains the combined cost below this level, the restaurant will be profitable. So, in addition, labor cost is the total amount of money spent by the company to their workers. This covers their wages, taxes, and many more that workers spend or the company spend to their workers. The next is average guest check. Another profitability measure used in the restaurant is average guest check. or average guest spending. Average guest spending is calculated by dividing the total revenue received for a particular period, a day, week, month, or year by total number of guests served during that period. So, best example of this is when you have the total revenue of 3,610 and the total number of guests served by that time is 350. So 3,610 divided by 350 is 10.31 pesos. So that is the average guest check or the average guest spending. Next is the break-even point, a point which make the business neither a profit or loss. So the formula for BEP or break-even point is fixed cost divided by the contribution margin. Fixed costs are those costs that remain the same regardless of the volume of the business. Examples are the salaries, interest, depreciation, insurance, rent, and many more. Contribution margin is the average check less available or variable cost. Example, if a restaurant has an annual fixed cost of 125,000 and an average guest spending of 10 pesos and variable costs such as food, labor, and other is 75% of revenue or 7.50% guests served, is break-even point is, so 125,000 is the annual fixed cost divided by the 2.50 is equals to 50,000. So the contribution margin is average check less variable cost is 2.50 less or 7.50 pesos. The break-even number of customers is 50,000. So the proof is total revenue is 50,000 times 10 equals 500,000 and the variable cost is 50,000 times 7.50 is 375,000. The fixed cost is 125,000. So there are no profit or loss.